Hello, baseball way of lifers. How you all doing? It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And the good news is baseball is back. Yes, the sport we know and love is back. Who's ready? I know a lot of you are excited. We thought there was going to be a game last night, but it looks like this COVID-19 thing is not over, unfortunately. And the Yankee game was postponed yesterday. So I'm not sure what's going to happen the rest of that series. I know there's a lot of revenue, and I know ESPN had yesterday's game scheduled, and I know they have Sunday night's game scheduled. I think Fox probably has the Saturday game. Who knows? That whole series usually goes nationwide, doesn't it? So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this now. What is going to happen? I don't know. We'll see. But let's not that hinder what's going on tonight. Baseball is back. And who's excited? I got to admit, I was a little skeptical coming into the season. I thought it was going to be another season without fans, to be honest with you. But I'm so glad that is not the case. And wow, what a season it's been. That's the beauty of baseball. You can make all your predictions you want in the beginning of the year, but you never, ever know what's going to happen. Honestly, who saw Shohei Ohtani doing what he was doing? Who saw the Yankees floundering at this point in the season? I mean, it's amazing. Who thought the Mets would still be in first place when their entire team was decimated by injuries? Who expected the San Francisco Giants to do what they did? I was saying at best they would be a 500 team, but they have come out of the woodwork, and there's a damn good shot they win their division. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the cream always rises to the top, and I said this in the beginning of the year. I was saying this from the get-go. I thought the Dodgers were actually going to try to challenge the Mariners' 116-game win season back from 2001. I guess I was wrong about that, but still, the cream always rises to the top. And even if Trevor Bauer's not with them the rest of the year, Dodgers is just too deep. San Diego is an up-and-coming team. I still think they need a few tweaks along the way. They will make the playoffs. I think all three teams from the NL West will make the playoffs. But we shall see. But the Giants have a legitimate shot. I just think it's going to be tough for them over a 162-game schedule to actually win 100 games. Like I said, I thought at best they'd be a 500 team, and I don't know what's going to transpire. If you listen to my predictions, you'd have been totally wrong. You'd have the Yankees in the World Series this year. I didn't think Boston would be no more than an 85-win team. Boy, was I wrong. You just don't know. And Tampa Bay is now like the new version, or should I say the East Coast complement to the Oakland A's, where you just know that they're always going to be in the playoff push no matter who they win or lose, who they lose, I should say, during the course of an offseason or a season, just due to salary constraints. I guess them letting Blake Snell go looks like a brilliant move on their part. The Chicago White Sox, they had all those injuries that are young players in the beginning of the year. Well, guess what? They're coming back in August and September. Right now, the White Sox, even without Jimenez and Rene Robert, they may be the best team in the American League. Now, how about those Houston Astros? Oh, my goodness. Everyone's expecting them to fall apart. They've actually unified and gotten better at this point. And hats off to the Astros. What they are doing is amazing. And I got to give them all the credit in the world. And how about the Cubs? Are they going to sell? Well, Ted Hammond just chipped in. And Ted, I'm glad you're watching. He says the Cubs are going to be sellers. And I couldn't agree more. I guess the world is in suspense right now as where Chris Bryant is going to be headed. Now, Chris Bryant, in this day and age of baseball, is one of those guys who is so versatile. He's like DJ LeMahieu on steroids. He can hit the ball 10 times farther than anyone. No, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of guys who can hit. But Chris Bryant, at the top of his game, is one of the most feared sluggers in the game. Just injuries have set him back the last few years. So it's going to be interesting. He's the crossroads of his career. Now, there's rumors that the Mets may be players for him. we shall see what happens there. But Ted, you're right. I thought the Braves are in it to win it. The Braves are never going to give up, and the NL East is there for the taking. So it's going to be interesting. They've got Peterson, so it means they are trying to win. And who knows, they still may go after Chris Bryant. But we'll see what happens there. But I agree. The Cubs are definitely going to be sellers. You hate to see that. I hate to see any team that's been successful. It's been a few years now since the Cubs won the World Series, granted. But the fact of the matter is, you hate to see a nucleus like that who meant so much to a city, especially Chicago. The Cubs are such an essential part of that sports world, and it's got to hurt. Now, I know it has no bearing on what the White Sox are doing, but the White Sox are ready to rock and roll. But the Cubs, it'll always be a Cubs town, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I mean, when you lose guys that meant so much, and from what I'm hearing, maybe Rizzo's the only guy who does stay. So that's going to be a little bit scary if you're a Cub fan. It's tough to let go, but as you can tell, all teams have to let go sooner or later. No team, no matter how strong it is, lasts forever. And I always say it's like a successful restaurant in a big city. Unless it's a chain restaurant or whatever, out of this world restaurant, you have a 5-year cycle where you maximize your profits and you sell off and then either create another restaurant or just get out of the business altogether. That's how I say it should be with these teams who are basically you felt they were going to last forever. Well, no one lasts forever. And that's the sad part that, they have to dismantle it. But there's brilliant minds that run that Cub organization. I'm sure they'll do well. But let's talk about, we were talking about the Braves and Peterson. That's going to be an interesting division. I think you can't underestimate Washington. And I think Juan Soto could very well be the guy that can carry the Nationals. And maybe not even 90 wins is going to win that division. The Mets are going to have all their regulars back healthy, but you got to keep your fingers crossed now on that pitching staff because what they did in the first half, Walker Stroman and DeGrom, no matter how good they are, can that be duplicated? That's a tall order. And we'll see what happens. And they got to make sure everyone stays healthy on that pitching staff, the Mets do. The lineup, at the beginning of the year, I thought it was one of the best in the National League, but they kept it together with Band-Aids and patches as everyone's gone down. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. A Facebook user. We have a Facebook user who says Brett Boone returning to next year in New York will be a surprise. Maybe you meant Aaron Boone. I don't think Brett Boone is the guy you're talking about here, but it will be a surprise if Aaron Boone does come. I think the Yankees, they're not going anywhere this year. I had them winning at least about 100 to 105 games this year, and it's just not working out for them. And that's the way it goes. I didn't think the Red Sox would be the team they are. I thought they were a gas can ready to blow up, and they're now, on pace to maybe win 100 games? And I thought they were a 500 team at best. The team I'm looking at in the American League East is the Toronto Blue Jays. I think they're just too much young talent. And if they go out and get a couple good pitchers, the Blue Jays aren't that far out where you got Guerrero, he's having an MVP season. And we'll see what happens there. But it's going to be interesting to see. That whole AL East is going to be fun to watch. Now, I think the AL Central is basically a done deal. I think the White Sox are just too good. They've withstood injuries. They have the pitching. And bing, bang, boom, they're now a team that's ready to rock and roll. So I'm expecting the White Sox to go ahead and knock the Sox off the baseball world. What else is happening in that division? The Indians going to be sellers. How much more body blows can the Indian fans take? They lose all these players. Kluber. I mean, I get it. Kluber, all right, he had to go. Carrasco, Lindor, right down the line. They're getting rid of these guys, and it's tough to withstand that. Kansas City, I think, if they continue on this pace, will be a good team. But it's not their year. And there just really is no one else right now in that. I mean, Detroit is doing the right thing with the youngsters, and we'll see what happens there. But I think if there's one division that's a done deal, it's the American League Central. I was going to say that about the National League Central, but the Reds are really starting to impress. That Red lineup can hit, and their major concern is pitching. Now, the Brewers, on the other hand, are a team that can pitch, but they're just not hitting. And when you get to the postseason, you're going to need that clutch bingo. Is it Christian Yelich? I don't know if Christian Yelich he maybe have a battered body more than what we know, but is he ever going to return to that form that made him an MVP type caliber? We'll see. I would like to see Christian do well, and I'd like to see Milwaukee's a great baseball town when they're winning. It's a great regional area that really supports the Brewers, so it'll be a good race. I think the Cubs and Cards can count him out. And poor Nolan Arenado. He thought he was going to a contender, and guess what? It just didn't work out that way. Now, another Facebook user here says the NL West will have 3 teams in the playoffs. No wild card for the NL East. And I agree with you on that. I think the Giants have that lock, stock, and barrel at this point. And we'll see. Oh, it's Ted Hammond giving all his comments. Ted, just rapid fire. Well, thank you, Ted. Thanks for your participation. And he apologized. He did mean Aaron Boone. Of course, I knew that, Ted. I knew that. And like he says, I think you're spot on, Ted, with the NL West. I think it's a 3-team horse race. I think the Dodgers will win, but I also thought the Dodgers would be ahead at this point in the first half of the season. Now, even losing Trevor Bauer, they're just so deep that, David Price was basically a setup man. He'll come in and he'll do okay. The whole Trevor Bauer thing, that's a topic for another day. I really don't want to discuss that here. It's kind of sad what's going on. I hope, all parties concerned, it works out for whoever's right, but I don't even want to go there. I'm sorry. The AL West, that should be a dogfight. The Houston Astros are for real. They are for real. And I see the Astros coming in. I mean, they've defied all logic. No one expected them to do this well. And by golly, they have. If a team can handle adversity like the Astros can, they're going to be threatened in the postseason. Now, the Oakland A's are always in there. They're always in the mix. They can get rid of guys. They lost Semien this past off season, but the rumor about Trevor Story is he may actually go to Oakland. So we'll see what happens there. And Ted Hammond says Bauer will not return this year. It looks bad, and I agree with you. I think the less we talk about Trevor Bauer, the better off we all are. And but Ted brings up a good point, though. Yes, he does. He says the Dodgers still have no dependable bullpen. Kenley is past his prime. And have they really been able to depend on Kenley the last couple of years? So that is a key. The bullpen is always a key in the playoffs. The main key in the playoffs for any team is to have the solid 3 starters. And you look at all the teams that are in first place, they all have a solid 3 basically, except for maybe the Red Sox. And that's why the Red Sox concern me a little bit. And the Astros, there's a few question marks there too. But, you got the Mets with Stroman, Walker, DeGrom. You got the Dodgers. You can pick out your top 3 out of the whole crew, and you'd be satisfied no matter who you put out there. The White Sox have a great rotation. But it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. And, of course, the award ceremonies, all the records that could possibly be broken. Can Ohtani hit 61 homers? And maybe we'll look at that as the real home run record. If he catches Roger Maris, that would be nice to see. Joey Gallo is another one who may actually get traded. But from what I'm hearing, it looks like Joey Gallo will not be traded till the end of the year. Now, the Rangers are in the rebuilding process, so they could probably dump him nicely at the end of the offseason and get prospects. and we'll see what happens there. Let's talk about, I think the National League Cy Young Award will probably be DeGrom's for the taking. I think people are talking about whether or not DeGrom will actually get the Cy Young Award the MVP award at this point. And that's going to be a hotly contested battle between him and Fernando Tatis. I think it's going to be between those two. I think if the Mets do win their division, you'd have to give it to DeGrom because he's basically carried that team. And they are winning finally while he's pitching. So he's doing it all, offensively, defensively, pitching like no one ever has. And Tatis is good, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's a long way to go. In the American League, I'd have to say Guerrero anytime a guy's a Triple Crown threat. It's got to be Guerrero. And like I said before, I expect the Blue Jays to make some noise this year. I really, really do. I think this could be the year that they come about and do it. Now, the Brew Crew, like I said, they're going to have to learn how to hit in the second half, and the Reds are a little bit behind, but they can make their move, and we'll see what happens. What else? That's about all I had on the top of my head. An interesting topic we had in the group was the All-Star uniforms, and a lot of you, oh, wait, someone put up a good point, and let's guess who it was. Yes, Ted Hammond. Ohtani should win MVP. Now, how could I forget about Ohtani? Oh, my God. I have brain freeze. I had my coffee 2 weeks ago. I actually had a double cup of coffee. But what was I thinking? Ohtani should be the MVP. And Ted brings up a good point. El Nino leads in homers and steals, even with his stints on the DL. No one has done that since Chuck Klein with the Pirates many, many, many years ago. And that's a valid point. But my counterpoint is, and I'm not taking sides. I'm a Met fan, but I'm not taking sides. What DeGrom has done has been unprecedented, basically. And we just have to see if he can keep it up. So either choice is going to be a good one, that's for sure. But getting back to what we were talking about in the group, the All-Star uniforms, I would say I always like to put out the question of the day, and the question was, what do you guys think of the All-Star uniforms? Well, we got I'd say 90% hands down on that one. So it wasn't pretty. So if anyone can get in touch with Commissioner Manfred and let him know how you guys feel about this, please do, because it was not pretty, the responses you guys gave on that. Now, my own personal opinion on the podcast, I don't know if you know about the podcast, but we have a podcast. It's also under the name Baseball Way of Life. I recited what everyone had to say, so I don't want to rehash that there, but you can check that out on the podcast. But my thing is, when I was growing up, there was so much pride in the National versus the American League, and so much pride seeing your player's uniform represented in the All-Star game. Well, that just didn't happen this year. You couldn't even tell. It looked like one generic team out there. Now, I could see maybe like in batting practice you wear that, but even still, if you're sitting in the stands, you want to see the team colors out there. It was a nice concept. It was basically saying they're all one team or whatever, and it also could be a commercial grab. I like to buy authentic jerseys for my team, the Mets, and every year they keep going up. I think this year basically an authentic is $359. I usually get them like Thanksgiving weekend when they have like a 30% off sale. But that's neither here nor there. I was shocked to see an authentic jersey from the All-Star game going for $459, which is basically about $70 to $80 more than what a normal jersey goes for. So if you got one of those jerseys, by golly, I don't know who would pay for it. So I haven't seen a person wearing one yet. When you get up to $450 for an authentic jersey and $170 for the replicas, who's going to wear that? Were they testing the intelligence of normal people who are going to buy that? Unbelievable. But like I said, I don't mind the All-Star caps, representing the colors of the home team. So give the home team some credo. But I think the jersey should always be representing the team you came from. If you're a road team, you wear the team's road jersey. And if you're the home team, you wear the team's home jersey. Just my opinion. For what it's worth, that's it. Well, that's it. Like I said, we're going to be popping on here live every now and then. I like to do one of these live, see what you guys are saying. And Ted Hammond, thank you for your participation. You made it great. You were helping out with the conversation flow, and I can't thank you enough. And like I said, I want to pop in here. I want to make this group interactive. I want to have guests and everything on there, but that's down the line. So you guys have any suggestions, just email me at philstan41@gmail.com. And better yet, you know what you guys can do? You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll be updated every time a video is uploaded. And please do not hesitate to say what you like or don't like on this. I welcome all comments. If you like it, it makes me feel good. If you don't, then I can learn from it. So that's it for now. Maybe I'll see you later on today. If not, definitely tomorrow. Stay cool no matter where you are. I know it's hot as hell here in the East. So stay cool. I know all you are cool because you're the greatest baseball fans in the world. Enjoy the day, and we'll talk soon. Take care, guys.